Hey guys, it's Adela. How are you? So, my topic today will be remembering your work. I had a conversation the other day with a friend of mine, and she knows that I'm always dating, right? Like, I always have two or three in my Rolodex, in my rotation, whatever you want to call it, right? Um, so, when I said to her, like, I'm actually not talking to anyone, she was like, what? You're not talking to anyone? I'm like, no, I'm taking a break. God knows my heart. He knows what I'm looking for, what I've been asking him for. And I was talking to two, three guys and the conversation was just to kill time. I didn't see anything meaningful coming out of the conversation. So I said, why am I wasting my time? Right? So I had to let these individual go. So she said to me, wow, I can't believe it. So then she said, I'm tired of being single. So I was like, I started laughing. I'm like, what do you mean? So she was like, I've been praying to God to send me a man for 2 years. I don't understand why he haven't answered my prayer. And when I go outside and I see all these couples and I look at him and I'm like, well, how did she get him? Or how did he get her? And all these things. So I'm saying to her, I'm like, don't judge a book by its cover. Like you don't know what those individuals have went through or might be going through, even though they walking together and they're together. Like you don't know people's story, so therefore you can't just assume just by looking like, oh, she got a man. I said you can have a man, but what kind of man are you looking for? Because if you're just looking for a man, I'm sure you get dressed and go outside. You can get a man. So getting a man, it's not the problem, right? It's much bigger than that. But I had to remind her of her worth. I had to remind her that there's someone out there for everyone. And when the time is right, you will meet that individual. But until then, you can't keep entertaining clowns. That's one, right? So when you realize that you've had a couple of conversations and it doesn't do anything for you, like in your spirit, this is not going anywhere, but you continue to entertain that. That's wasting time. That's wasting time that you can't get back because it's not going anywhere. So what are you really doing, right? And I also had to remind her that listen, you're worthy. I don't care what you have been told. I don't care what you might feel. I don't care what you might see when you're looking at the situation. It's like you are worthy. And it's all in divine timing. Like you have got to let the universe do its thing. You just gotta wait. And I'm not saying that it's easy because who doesn't want to have that right mate, right? Who doesn't want to have that companionship? But do you want to have it and every 6 months you're looking for it again, or every year you're looking for it again? Or do you want to have it in the right way? Someone who's compatible with you, right? Like something that can be long lasting, something that can grow. So hearing her talking, she's like, I look in the mirror and I'm wondering, like, what is wrong with me? And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with you. First thing we have to shift the mind because it's easy for us to go into that state where we start to blame ourselves and we start to question who we are as if we don't have enough put on us, right? As not only being a woman, but life in itself comes with a lot. So now on top of that, now here she is looking in the mirror, asking what's wrong with her, questioning why doesn't she have a man, wondering where did she go wrong, all these things. And I'm just like, it's not you per se. And if you are single, trust and believe there's a lesson to be learned in this season. Trust and believe maybe there's some inner work that needs to be done. Because if you have the attitude or the mindset that I'm not worthy, or what's wrong with me, or maybe I'm not good enough, what could I listen? God can't send you your king? How can he? You don't see yourself as the queen that you are. You don't see yourself as worthy. So if he was to send you a man and things do work, then will it get to the point where you associate feeling worthy with having a man? Because that's not how God operates. He doesn't want that. You need to find that self-love within yourself. The only way you can love others is to love you first. So if you're lacking in that department of knowing your worth and accepting it, then how can he bring someone else into this chaos? Like, you got to clean up your yard first before he can send someone. It makes perfect sense. So, that was our conversation. I told her, like, I'm just taking a break. I'm giving myself some time just to be me, just to not have to answer a call if I really don't want to, not have to respond to a text if I don't want to, and not only wasting my own time, but I don't want to waste anybody else's time, because I wouldn't want anybody to waste my time. So, yeah, but I understood where she was coming from. Like, I understood how society and things that we go through or we're going through can put us in a place where we start to question things. So I totally get where she was coming from. I'm very secure in who I am now. Have I always been this way? I probably would have to say no. I'm sure there was times when relationship ended and I questioned my worth and I questioned myself. So I'm thankful that I am where I am today. I'm thankful that I am in this place to where I'm okay with waiting until I meet the one that's for me. I'm okay with that because I'm enjoying my space. Probably a little bit too much, to be honest with you. But I realize it's not even just a woman thing, right? So I am not dating at the moment, but I remember about a month ago or so when I was, and I was exchanging messages with this guy online. So he said, I don't like being single. So I'm like, well, I don't know if anybody really likes to be single, but you have to deal with the situation as it comes. So he said, yeah, but I just want to meet somebody and spend time with them and all that stuff. I miss all that. I said, yeah. I said, me too, but I don't want to just meet anybody. I said, it have to be a connection. It have to be a chemistry, right? So, I said, I know what I want and I know what I need, and settling is not an option. So he said to me, yeah, but we're in a pandemic, we're in a quarantine. So I was like, oh, this is going to be a great conversation, right? Because let me see where he going with this. So he said, I said, yeah, so what does that mean? He said, well, since it's a pandemic, you shouldn't be so picky. What? I said, I shouldn't be so picky because of the pandemic? So because of the pandemic and the quarantine, my standard should now be lower? Oh, heck no. So, I don't know if I have to tell you guys, but that was the last conversation we ever had, right? Because I'm not sure what perspective he was looking at it from. Was he saying I shouldn't be so picky in hopes that I'll be like, all right, well, it's a pandemic. Let me just jump on this and, let it do what it do with him? Or did he really feel because of this pandemic that the chances of meeting someone where you really can have a connection is like slim to none? But to hear it from a man, it was mind blowing. I mean, I really don't know where he was going with it. I didn't stick around to kind of get the gist of what he was really saying, because I guess he sensed it, because I was like, pandemic or not, I'm not selling. I'm not selling myself short. I know who I am. I know my worth. I know what I bring to the table. And so therefore, Why am I going to settle because of a quarantine and pandemic? This is not forever. This too shall pass, like everything else that I thought was going to take me out. So I'm not going to settle. So I'm going to settle with someone, pandemic come and gone, right? And then 6 months later, I'm looking at this individual like, what was I thinking? I must have been really desperate because this guy's not even my type. So before I have to get there and go through that, then it's like 6 months into it. Now it's not working out. Now I'm back on the dating scene. No, I don't want to keep doing that. I don't want to keep going in circle when I know better. So like I said, when you know better, you should do better, right? It only makes sense. So yeah, overall I'm just here to say, not even just to the ladies, but if any man is watching, that remember who you are. Like, remember who God has called you to be. Like, you were chosen. Keep that in mind. Like, know your worth. Everybody does not deserve entry into your soul, your heart, your space. Everybody can't come in. Many might apply, but only one will get that secure position. So don't let what's happening at the moment deter you from what it is that you know you want, from what it is that you know that you need. God does not intend for us to be alone. That is not his plan. So because I know that, I know when the time is right, he will send the man that's perfectly made for me. Not a perfect man, but he will be perfectly made for me. And he's going to accept all of this sarcasticness and everything else that comes with me. And I'm excited. Like I turn it around. Instead of me looking at my now and complaining, I don't do that. I look toward the future. And I'm excited to meet that individual and to go through those stages of the butterflies and feeling like I'm a teenager again, right? Like, that alone keeps me motivated because I know love is a beautiful thing. With the right individual, love is like 4th of July every day. There's fireworks. There's fireworks. So it might start to dim down, but there will always be fireworks. Maybe not as many as when you first start, as time go on, but still, I need someone that can do it for me. I can't learn to like someone. I can't learn to love someone. Like, I need that instant attraction. So, if you're single, I'm here to tell you, don't give up. That right man or that right woman is out there. They just getting their stuff together, just like you getting your stuff together. And don't be so impatient. Wait. Be still. Embrace the space that you're in. You know, I heard someone say that your singleness stage is one of the best stage ever. And I was like, that don't make no sense. Because I've always been in a relationship. Always been in long-term relationship. 13 years, 5 years, whatever the case may be. So for me, I'm like, who would want to be single? Who would embrace that? But I must say, being in this single stage, it's a beautiful thing. There's no concern if my man is doing anything. I don't have to worry about, oh, why he didn't text me today. And then, you know, especially when you're not in a healthy relationship and you're in those relationships where the trust might not be 100%. It's hell. Being single definitely beats those relationships that's not so strong, as to where doubt starts to play in your mind. It's not a healthy way for nobody to live. So if I had to choose between the doubtful relationships and being single, I would put I would pick being single. Definitely over that. So once again, that's my testimony. Those are my thoughts on remembering your work, knowing who you are, knowing that there's someone out there for everyone. And when the time is right, you're going to meet him or you're going to meet her. And then you'll be able to look back and say, wow, I understand why it didn't work out with anyone else. I get it now. I get that I had to go through the lessons that I went through. It made me wiser. I've learned, I've grown. So, once again, this is Adela, and that's my testimony. All right.